Hey, good evening everybody. I'm John Smith. This is our rig, Old 55. We've had him for about over a year now. With work, haven't been able to get much progress on. You can see we're still in the process of bringing up the floor, taking down the walls, taking off the ceiling panels, and gutting all the batted insulation. I wanted to share something with you guys tonight. It took almost the entirety of all these wall panels for me to figure this out. So it might be helpful to some people. Everybody may already know how to do it. But when taking off these wall panels, you can see that these things are screwed all the way around the edges of each panel. And these panels are actually pressed underneath these windows. So without removing the window, you can't just completely remove this, this wall. So what we did initially is I used side cutters or tin snips, and I started to cut down these things, which on top of taking forever, being dangerous, and just not leaving a very clean surface, it was very hard to do it this way, and you ruin the metal, or at least most of the metal that you have, because of this end here. So what I ended up figuring out at the very last second, and I have one panel left so I can show you guys this, is that I can take the angle grinder, which I started also just taking the angle grinder and just grinding all the way through it. And it was also taking forever. I was eating through my grinding wheels, and I ended up figuring out a way that you could just use the grinder still, but you can get a clean cut every time, and you can take it right up against this window. So we're gonna frame, insulate, and cover all of this. So just that piece of metal, little piece of metal hanging out, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. But if it was a big, jagged, dangerous piece of metal, I was gonna have to figure out what to do with it. So I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. This is all I'm gonna show you. But this side's kind of mangled right now because I had to pull it from behind this door frame. But normally you can just take screws out of each side and just pull this thing up. So what I'll do is I'll get underneath it and I'll pull it up so that it makes a pretty right angle here coming out from the wall. And I'll just use the angle grinder . I'll use the angle grinder, and I'm just going to skim across the bottom like this, and then you'll see how we can get this really good clean cut. So about 10 seconds of grinding. All I did was basically score the underside of this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to start bending it. I couldn't quite get to that corner, so it took a minute to get off. But you can see a really clean cut, very easy to do. It's still sticking out a little bit further than I would like. I may go back over with the angle grinder to bring it closer to the window, but it was taking me 20 minutes or so to get off a panel with the tin snips, and that time would include removing all the screws. So it was a very long process to a very quick process. If you don't know how to do it, or if you're wondering how to get these panels off, you can do this very easily. So hope everybody's doing all right, and we'll see you next time.